And the next speaker I am super excited about because it's a friend of mine, Julie. Julie, I've known for how long have we known each other? For over a decade, for sure, right?
Yes.
And welcome to the show, my dear. I can wait for you to share your story and your experience with business.
So I have to say that I've had the entrepreneurial spirit since I was in junior high, from like selling bags of corn nuts to other students in the class and getting the thrill, feeling the thrill of being able to make instant profit from doing something fun like that. But fast forward to when I was in college, halfway through, um, I had some personal issues at home, and I had the choice to either drop out of college or drop out of college and take care of my brothers as their guardian, or continue going to school and thinking, I'll figure some social solution out later. So towards the end of college, the opportunity arose again. And this time I decided, okay, I'm going to finish college and I'm going to take care of my brothers, become their legal guardian, and do the right thing. So I went into a corporate setting immediately after college. I was working as a technical support person, and I was working at an architecture firm. And I was very inspired there by design and creativity. And the more that I got inspired by that, the less I was satisfied with doing technical support. And I loved the people that I worked with and I loved helping them out, but I did feel that there was something better for me. So I started to look into ways of creating income online, because at that time, Google was getting bigger, and there were ways of people monetizing blogs. And I figured, okay, well, I can translate some of my technical skills to that. So for at least 6 months, I was working on internet marketing. And it got to a point where it's very obvious at work that I was not satisfied there. So when that recession hit at that time, I was one of the first to be let go. So I felt like I was free. It's like, okay, this is an opportunity for me to pursue creating something and being able to generate passive income. Um, you
I'm
know,
gonna stop
I've,
you here, if I may, because that's around the time you and I met in 2008.
yeah,
Because we both were at the same spot. Like you said, it was the recession, and it was you went through your whole architectural firm and not being happy there really, and then letting being let go of. I had the same thing going on in the teaching world, right? I was like working at the elementary school, doing what I didn't like to do, didn't enjoy doing. My job was not available at that time, and I was looking as well, and that's how we met. It's funny how the universe works and how people meet when they are supposed to meet. Back then you shared your story, and when I first heard your story, because we both got into same business at that time, I was like, wow, this is really like that's exactly me. And I could relate to you in so many ways back then. And I always admired how driven you were and how willing you were to learn new things. Like you are someone who is, number one, super gifted, right? Number two, very resourceful. So could you please speak into that? Like how was it natural to you, like this resourcefulness and this like drive to try new things and not being scared to try new things? Because many people out there watching are probably thinking, but I don't do have that, I'm not like that. So is it something you learned, or was it natural to you?
I admit it was not natural. I actually didn't have anything I could call a passion or genuine interest. And it wasn't until, yeah, around that time, right before I got laid off, that I started to think. I started to ask questions. I started to explore the city around me.
Mm-hmm.
And from exploring the city and seeing new things and looking at things, more questions started coming up, and then this interest started to grow, and then these endeavors started to happen, and one thing led to another. So it was not overnight, and it was not natural, but it was something that grew from a genuine interest in something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there is this amazingness. Like you are very someone who really like I don't know how to word it right now, but it's like Julie is someone who has set of skills that are very unique. Not everybody has them. And then she has this passion for something. She was able to combine the two, although you would never think that these two things would ever go together. And she was able to combine the two and create beautiful businesses out of it. I'm say businesses because there are more than one. And I just love how you are creative in that way. So tell us what happened next.
So I started getting into yoga,
Mm-hmm.
and I eventually became certified as a yoga teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And during that process of getting certified, I knew that there was a stereotype that yoga teachers do not make good full-time income, or that, you need to have some other forms of income in order to enjoy teaching yoga. And I also, at that same time, I was very passionate about deep house music and, music without lyrics. And I had this idea in the back of my mind that if I could teach yoga, but curate a set of music that could accompany the flow of our breath and the way that our heart beats, that maybe that could be something. And at that time, I had an opportunity to teach in a warehouse in Redondo Beach. And that class filled up very, very quickly. And it was my dream coming to life. And while I was seeing this inflow of students and getting all the positive feedback about the classes, I thought, okay, well, I had been wanting to move to San Francisco. So what if I could take this to San Francisco, but make some kind of income from it? So in the span of 90 days, I left Los Angeles, took my cats, and moved to Berkeley, West Oakland. And I was already an Uber and Lyft driver, so I did that up there. And one thing led to another, and through a mutual friend, I met this amazing woman, and we co-founded Deep House Yoga. And she was a DJ, and I was the instructor, and that took off. That spread all over East Bay, San Francisco, uh, near San Jose, and then down to Los Angeles. And we were written about a few times in the newspaper. So that was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and out of that, you created some retreats, and you've been doing them annually. I was able to participate in one of them 3 years ago. And for those of you who follow me on social media, Facebook somehow tracks that. And just a couple days ago, they sent me pictures from this trip to Greece that we took together. It was amazing, life changing. So tell us about that, where that idea came from, and how did you figure it out? How, that was around the time where like retreats were just getting started in this world. So you are one of the first people to start retreats in the yoga world. And tell us, how did you come up with that?
I've always enjoyed traveling. I always loved traveling. And I thought that it would be wonderful, really wonderful, to lead a retreat in Bali, Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time when I started thinking about how to get these retreats going, something inside me said, okay, not yet Bali, but how about other places closer to the States? So I led a retreat in Tulum, Mexico, and that was amazing. I had used a third party retreat curator or a production company to get that retreat going. And as I'm sitting on the sands of Tulum, the owner of the venue comes by and she says, you know, you could actually do this yourself. You could plan everything and get the logistics down. It's not that hard. But if you're good with details, you can do this yourself and be able to generate more income. And I said, okay, sure. So I ended up leading retreats in Spain, Santorini, where Lenka came, and eventually Bali. And this was during the time where my husband and I took our cats, left San Francisco, and traveled around the world to live a nomadic lifestyle. So I definitely could not have done it without him. And it's just been great to do that together and see different parts of the world and enjoy yoga at the same time.
Yeah. So it's like, to me, what it seems like, and you said it, you have really like a natural like attention to detail, and you're very detail oriented, and that is coming handy when you create your next steps. It almost feels like it's just naturally unfolding in front of you, and you're just following your intuition. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how it seems from the outside. You're following whatever like presents in front of you, in front of you, and you just take in the steps and growing and evolving and creating more and more. That's what it seems like on my end. Is that what do you do intentionally, or is that something that just happens naturally?
Well, part of it is something that happens naturally. I start thinking about it, but don't get me wrong, there were a lot of lessons to be learned,
Mm,
and sometimes it takes experience and experiencing something to learn what you can do better for next time. And that's how I got to the point where I felt ready for a retreat in Bali.
mm-hmm.
And I think that was one of the most successful retreats ever.
Yeah, and where I'm going with it is because what you stand for in yoga world is very unique, and it's that approach of I honor the body, and I want to understand the body and how it works, so that yoga could be used for healing and we can prevent injuries. And you've always been like a stand for that, and you teach yoga teachers how to teach yoga so that people don't get hurt from yoga. Um, yeah, I would like to hear more about that, and what sparked that idea.
It comes from personal experience with injuries,
Mm,
and I won't say that yoga was the sole cause. Yoga poses, I have to clarify, yoga asana,
mm,
yoga poses was the main cause of the injuries, but combined with genetics and previous injuries, it it led me to understand that doing too much of anything is too much, and that trying to focus on aesthetics and forcing shapes with our bodies, for example, creating straight lines or the expression, going into fullest expression of a pose,
mm,
that may not necessarily be in harmony with the structure of your bones, your ligaments, your tissues. And it can really take you outside of yourself to focus on what you look like on the outside and trying to emulate what the teacher is doing, or allowing the teacher to judge how your body should be moving or looking. And I felt that teaching yoga to be more empowering so that you can start to listen to your inner sensations, get to know the movements of your body, and respect your natural ranges of motion, that that requires a lot more internal processing. And I felt that was much more helpful to other people, and that
mm,
it can be if people can begin to trust themselves.
mm.
So I've been studying with biomechanists, osteopaths, orthopedics, chiropractors, and I am continually learning more about how the body operates so that I can teach it in plain English for others to their own practice.
Oh, that is so amazing, because that's really needed, I believe. Because first thing you guys need to understand, when I practice my morning yoga and I pull something and it hurts, I call Julie. I'm like, my knee hurts. What do I do? And she has answers, right? She knows like how to make it better, how to make it go away. So this is really amazing. And um, I also want to mention that this is not the only thing you do. You also have another business where you're helping people on Pinterest. So again, coming back to your IT background and all your tech skills that you have, utilizing those in another business that you have. So how do you handle both? How do you balance it all?
Breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of breathing and time blocking and being really clear about, you know, being focused, being
Mhm.
focused, and also taking time to take walks and either practice yogasana or
Mhm.
meditation or doing some form of exercise. So that way, I'm not trying to focus solely on this one task because then I can feel the stress arise and then, so it's just a matter of taking a breath and getting that these things have to be done. Um, yeah.
Yeah, so that brings me to my next question. What would you recommend to someone who is trying to start their own business and it feels, or maybe they already started and they are working on it and they feel really stressed out about it right now? What is the best technique or what is the best advice to do when we feel overwhelmed and stressed out? Like you said, it's the time blocking, it's the management of your business. You have to think it through, but what else can we do from the like from that yoga angle, from the breathing angle? How can we relieve that stress if we need to?
Well, if you are, whether you're working and or operating a business, chances are you're sitting
Mm-hmm.
in a chair and you're in the same fixed position.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably having your hands in the same position, your wrists, and they
Mm-hmm.
probably haven't been moving in any other way. So I would say that once you recognize that you're feeling stressed out, that your heart rate might be increasing, is that you can stand up and you can start to move around. And even if it's something simple like giving your forearms a massage, giving your hands a massage, and bringing your focus back to how your body is, because your body's serving you.
Mm-hmm.
It's serving you so that you can be able to run your business or work your job and take care of your family. And whatever yoga is to you, it doesn't have to mean doing a 15-minute sequence. It could be taking a walk, or it could be getting your kettlebells and swinging them around. But whatever it is that gets your uh, heart pumping and get your blood flow to the other areas that you might not be paying attention to as you're sitting. That would be the first thing I would say to do.
Mm-hmm. And it definitely works for me. Like what I like to do when I feel like that, like when I feel like I'm overwhelmed, I stopped, like the juices stopped flowing. Like I stopped getting ideas. I stopped being inspired. I start getting like, that resentment coming in. Like, why am I doing this? I start questioning things. So that's where I catch myself usually, and I'm like, no, not enough. That's not. I'm not going there. It's enough. And I get up, and I just, even if I just go downstairs to my kitchen and I grab apple or something, and I walk back up and I drink water and I just maybe watch something on YouTube for like just real quick, just a mental break from what I was focusing on. It usually goes away and I get back to my flow. So I don't know if that helps to anyone watching, but hopefully it does. So Julie, tell us, what are you working on right now? What's the next exciting thing that you are working on?
Well, I'm continuing to run my Pinterest agency. It's a one-woman
Mm-hmm.
agency. It's called Fuzzy Tuxedo Media because I'm
Mm-hmm.
a kitty person, and I had taken a break from teaching yoga, and now that I feel like I'm in flow with the Pinterest agency, I'm coming back to teaching yoga. I started teaching classes online, and I'm also pursuing a 500-hour yoga teacher certification as a therapeutic specialist with yoga medicine, and a 500-hour yoga biomechanics with Jules Mitchell. So a lot of learning, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of math and science and anatomy, and yeah, I love it.
I just love how you continue educating yourself and growing, and just you're never stuck in one place. That's what I love about you. And I wanted to ask you, since you left your corporate career, like back in when we met, 2008, you've never went back to corporate, really, right? You've been on your own ever since, right?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. And it was definitely full of ups and downs, and there were a lot of challenges. So, yeah, I would say that I'm definitely in a good place right now, being able to generate really great income from helping people with their
Hmm.
Pinterest marketing and being able to revisit teaching yoga on my own terms and also honoring my personal boundaries and being able to balance everything a lot better.
Yeah, and it's just amazing because people watching are you most likely watching because they are in a difficult spot right now. They are trying to bring in more income, maybe by starting a side gig. Maybe trying to find something that they are passionate about. And just so you know, you guys, you see Julie, she combined her skills with what she loves to do, and she created two beautiful businesses out of it. So just if we leave you with anything today, I want you to leave with, take a pen and paper and write it down, everything that you ever enjoyed doing, every single thing that brings you, happiness and smile on your face, and that makes you feel like joyful and excited, like when you're a kid. Remember, like that thing you loved to do when you're a little kid, something that feels that way, something. And then think, what am I great at? What skills do I already have that maybe I picked up at school, or maybe they were natural to me, or maybe I learned them at my last job or at this job or wherever you are, and see where it could lead you, see what you can create with that. That's what Julie did. She's doing great. And Julie, last thing I want to ask you is, you brought a gift to our audience. What is it and how is it going to help them?
Yeah, so for all of you that are attending this virtual summit, you'll get to take a yoga class with me. Your first class is on me. And it'll be great because you can take a work break, you can be able to decompress with me, and you'll also get to know your own body. So I love teaching these sessions, so it'd be great to practice with you and see you in the online studio.
Yeah, and the online studio will link that link where we always do underneath the video. And so just click on that button. I will take you straight to Julie, and she will take it from there and teach you what you need to know. And in closing, is there anything that you would like to add to our conversation today?
I just wanted to thank you, Lenka, for reaching out to me and for us having this great conversation. We've known each other for more than a decade, so it's really nice to see where we're both at.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that said, you ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a wonderful day. Julie, I wish you continuous success, and we will see you in the next video.